The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 1, Broken to Love. What do you say? Say it again. Ning Mengyao rounded his eyes and stared at the opposite man. His voice was shaking slightly, and his eyes were unbelievable. Ling Luo looked at Ning Mengyao's unbelievable look, opened his mouth, and when he got to his lips, it seemed that he couldn't say it. The people around him gently pushed him. Ling Lu looked up again, with a firm look. Yaoer, you know my identity, for the sake of the world, I must swear Xiaozi, so. Ning Mengyao smiled and looked at Ling Luo, who couldn't even say that he couldn't speak. He looked at each other with self-deprecation. So you want me to be yours? Ling Luo quickly shook his head. No, not awkward, flat wife. Huh, flat wife? Ning Mengyao swayed back and looked back at Ling Luo. It seems that you still don't know me enough. Who is she? Ning Mengyao? The two worlds are human beings. Will she compete with other women for their favorite men because of environmental changes? She and Ling Luo were a couple in the past. When they were about to get married, they came to this strange time because of the accident. After that, he was the young master of Ling Yunhofu, who was loved by thousands of people, and she was just abandoned by her family. Orphan. At that time, she met unexpectedly. He was as good as her, and she did not care about her status. She thought that they would know each other as they did before. 6 years, I have been here for 6 years. She has not changed, but he has changed. For the sake of power, the status actually wants her to share a man with other women. When did she Ning Mengyao fall to this point? Yaoer, you listen to me, I love you, but... Seeing Ning Mengyao's gradual cold eyes, Ling Luo walked to Ning Mengyao and grabbed her arm, some eager to explain. Love? Ling Luo is the most unworthy of love. Is you, love me? You love your rights and status. Do you still know me for so long? I have my pride, let me share other men with a woman. That is impossible. Ning Mengyao stretched out his hand and opened Ling Luo's hand, cold mouth. Ling Luo looked at the hands that were ruthlessly knocked down, and his body was slightly stiff. Yao, how can you do this? It is normal for the 3 wives and 4 beggars to be in this place. For Ning Mengyao's resistance, Ling Luo has some helplessness. Ning Mengyao's pupils are shrinking, looking up at Ling Luo. 3 wives and 4 beggars. Very normal. Then you have been to a life you think is normal. Don't look for me again. When these words were spoken, she thought that she would not be uncomfortable. After she was really exporting, she discovered that she was not as strong as she thought, and her heart could not breathe. Poor she didn't even know that his thoughts didn't know when it began to become as boring and ignorant as people of this era. Yaoer, you can't understand me, I am for us. Ling Luo looked at Ning Mengyao, which was more and more unrelenting, and also a little annoyed, yelling at Ning Mengyao's loud voice. Ning Mengyao walked toward Ling Lu step by step, raising his hand in his face and slamming 2 slaps. For us, good? Ling Luo, you are just for yourself. From now on, you and me will be decisive. Goodbye is only a passerby. I took a deep look at Ling Luo. There was no such love in the beautiful eyes. Some were just ruthlessly cold. An ordinary white cotton dress was actually a scent of her, a long cause. Her turn turned across the beautiful arc in the air, like a butterfly in the flowers, flying like a butterfly. Ling Luo squinted at his face and watched Ning Mengyao leave. He did not go to chase, nor did he open his mouth. He did not know that his release at this time was forever. When he saw goodbye, it was a matter of fact. Ning Mengyao did not know how she returned to her home. She looked at the exquisite small courtyard in front of her face. Looking at this small courtyard, Ning Mengyao smiled and laughed at herself. She thought that he would go with her. The life she wanted, but the reality, was a slap in her face. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 2, Interrupt the Thoughts. She worked him, and he took the initiative to let go of her hand. When the eyes are slightly closed, when I open it again, there is no fluctuation in the inside. Instead, it is calm, just like the one that has just collapsed, not her. Ning Mengyao walked into the yard, found a box from the retro bed in the room, and took out a green jade from the inside. There was a common word on the transparent jade. Looking at the piece of jade, Ning Mengyao's mouth was self-deprecating. put Yu Pei back into the box, closed the box and locked it with the key. In the cabinet where the box was placed, there was another box. When I looked at the box, Ning Mengyao reached out and took the box and opened it. Inside was a large stack of paper. When I glanced at it, I closed the box. With that small box, Ning Mengyao went to Qianzhuang, and when he came out, the box in his hand was gone. Looking up at the bustling street and letting go of some things, Ning Mengyao found her heart a lot easier. I bought some food on the street and went back to make a meal for myself. After the day gradually darkened, Ning Mengyao took the tung oil that I bought. On the house was covered with tung oil. After the night, Ning Mengyao took the torch and lit the place where she lived for 6 years. Looking at the small courtyard, a little bit of being eaten by the flame, a little bit of gray, Ning Mengyao turned and left, and her body has only a small burden, no other. The next day, when Ling Luo came to Ning Mengyao's home with his own confidant, he saw a pile of wreckage burnt into ruins. Looking at the house that was burned to ashes, Ling Luo's eyes flashed a horror. What happened? The man around Ling Luo turned around the house and didn't return to Ling Luo for a while. The young master poured tung oil around the house. So the house will be burned like this. The body took a step back uncontrollably, and she actually left in this way, and it was as cruel as ever. Young master, I am fine with Ming, why can't she understand me? Ling Luo muttered to himself. Ming Fong sees Ling Luo like this, I don't know how to comfort, appease, Miss Xiao Ning, her character, you know very well. The young master was incomprehensible to a village 5 years ago. He didn't understand it at first, but gradually he understood that Miss Ning didn't look like that. At least the temperament of the body was not seen in any village girl. Ling Luo's hand is slightly stiff, yeah, he knows best that she is not, isn't it? If she really wants to be a wife, she would rather give up, and now she has done it, and in such a cruel way she has broken the love between them. A remote mountain village 1,000 miles away from the capital, I don't know when there is a fine wooden house at the foot of the mountain. Surrounded by a fence surrounded by vine flowers, there are some high-leaf vegetable seedlings in the vegetable field in front of the house. The door of the wooden house suddenly opened, and a young girl came out from the inside. The girl wore a light pink embroidered dress, holding a bamboo basket in her hand, and a long hair with a waist, but with a jasper scorpion bun, the rest of the hair, casually scattered behind him, and this person is suddenly disappeared in the capital of Ning Mengyao. A month and a half ago, Ning Mengyao came to this ordinary small mountain village and bought a wooden house under the foot of the mountain to buy a beautiful landscape. It has been a month and a half since I came to this place. Her heart has gradually calmed down. Every day, she has done things she has longed for, planting vegetables, embroidering embroidery, or going to the village to turn around. Every day is dull but full. Put the basket in a hand to the corner, carry the small wooden barrel at the door to the side of the creek not far from the house, and put a bucket of water to pour some water on the vegetable seedlings. After finishing this, I will go back to the kitchen to start the day. Life. After the meal, Ning Mengyao took out an embroidered frame from the house, and there was a pair of embroidered items on the shelf, and the screen was rusted halfway. Sitting in the yard rusted for a little while, a voice came from the door. It was a girl's voice. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 3, Baishan Village. Hearing the voice, Ning Mengyao couldn't help but frown, looked down at the embroidered frame in front of him, and finally moved the embroidered frame back to the house. After packing it, he went to open the door. Opening the door, Yang Xiu'er stood at the door and carrying a piggyback on his back. Mengyao, are you not saying that you are going to the mountains today? Let's join together. Yang Xiu'er smiled a little embarrassed. She knew Ning Mengyao a month ago. Before that, she just heard that there was an orphan girl in the village. She lived alone at the foot of the mountain. At that time, she also digged some wild vegetables for going up the mountain, that is, she saw it at that time. Ning Mengyao. She was wearing a cotton dress and was cooking in the vegetable garden. At that time she thought she saw the fairy. Later, she got along and she knew that Ning Mengyao was very effective. At that time, she began to get close to Ning Mengyao, hoping to learn something from her body. However, the more she gets along, the more she discovers that she and Ning Mengyao are not a person of the world. She can have a beautiful meal, a good meal, and so on. She has something she doesn't have. Well, you wait for me, I will take the recital. Ning Mengyao took the small back of the utility room and closed the door of the house. When the door was reached, the door was locked. Ning Mengyao seems to be very unsafe in this yard. Actually, it is not. It is really impossible for ordinary people to go in, unless the door is smashed, because the surrounding vines are all thorny wild roses. Let's go. Ning Mengyao said. Yang Xiu'er smiled slightly. Yang Xiu'er nodded dumbly. No matter how many times she saw it, she still couldn't recover from her smile. Ning Mengyao's family was at the foot of the mountain, and the two did not spend much time on the mountain. It is now in the early summer, when 2 rains have been made before, and some edible fungi are occasionally seen on the mountain. Ning Mengyao and Yang Xiu'er will pick up the edible fungi that they have eaten in the back, but soon she discovered that Yang Xiu'er, who looks like a good temper, is actually selfish in the bones. After seeing the fungus, she will immediately pass, regardless of size, all in the back. Such a picture, Ning Mengyao just smiled slightly, did not say anything, but went to the other side to find what they needed. After Yang Xiu'er finished the mushroom in front of him, he turned around and saw Ning Mengyao not far behind him. There was a large cluster of straw mushrooms in front of him. When I saw those straw mushrooms, I was somewhat dissatisfied. Why didn't she call herself? Holding the piggyback and walking towards Ning Mengyao, I saw in the past that there was still a lot of straw mushrooms, which converge on the unhappiness in my heart, and let go of my back in Ning Mengyao, a lot of straw mushrooms. Having said this, Yang Xiu's hand kept on the straw mushrooms. Not long after, the big straw mushroom was all in her back. On the contrary, Ning Mengyao who found the straw mushroom had only the previous extract. Some of that. Looking at Yang Xiu'er, who has not let go of a little straw mushroom, Ning Mengyao's eyes are a little unpleasant, but this is nothing to her, and there is no opening at the moment, just holding a piggyback the other side went. Seeing Ning Mengyao, Yang Xiu'er snorted, and her heart was somewhat proud. What happened to her? At the end of the day, she did not pick more. She was proud of her, and did not notice the irony of Ning Mengyao's eyes. Yang Xiu'er's attitude was like a jumping clown for her. Did not stay in the mountains for a long time. Near noon, Ning Mengyao proposed to go back. Yang Xiu'er is not very happy. Isn't it still early? Why did you go back? She found that Ning Mengyao could pick more mushrooms and wild vegetables, so she didn't want to go down so early, and wanted to stay a little longer. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Xiu'er with a faint look, and his eyes flashed a glimmer of light. These are enough for me to eat for a long time. So there is no need to stay. Yang Xiu'er opened his mouth and wanted to say that these were not enough for their family to eat for 2 days. But what does this have to do with people? Finally, Yang Xiu'er can only leave behind Ning Mengyao, but her heart is dissatisfied, and she must be called next time. Looking at Yang Xiu's back with his back, Ning Mengyao turned and went back. When he turned around, he saw a tall man in a clothed coat holding a lot of prey from the mountain. Prey with pheasants, robes, rabbits, etc. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 4, Uninvited. Hey, wait a minute. Ning Mengyao saw the man turn to a corner after he reached the foot of the mountain, ready to leave, and quickly called to Liv. Before Qin Tianchang saw Ning Mengyao standing there, she heard her voice stopped, and a pair of calm and unwavering eyes looked at her with doubts in her eyes. Sorry to touch his nose, Ning Mengyao found that her tone was a bit rude. Can you pray sell a pheasant to me? Ning Mengyao went to Qiao Tianchang and looked up at him. I haven't found it yet. After I walked in, Ning Mengyao discovered that this man is really tall. Her 1.6-meter man is like a child in front of this man. Qiao Tian nodded and took a pheasant from his hand and handed it to Ning Mengyao. How much is this? Ning Mengyao asked the pheasant he had handed over. 50 texts. Oh, well, wait for me, I will go back and get the money. Turning around and entering the house, he didn't take a moment to come out again, holding a copper plate in his hand. After collecting the copper plate, Qiao Tianchang turned and left, and if there was nothing like a nose with a fragrant smell, the copper plate in his hand still took her warm temperature. Ning Mengyao turned back and began to clean up the bought pheasant. At noon, she ate chicken and burned mushrooms. In the afternoon, Ning Mengyao did not intend to go outside. When she had eaten, she was ready to embroider her screen. She was just about to move the embroidery frame. Yang Xiu'er came over with the embroidered basket. There were embroidered lines and some sungs and purses. Seeing her, Ning Mengyao did not intend to embroider the screen, but turned and went to the utility room on the side. When she came out, she had a very small in her hand. Looking at the things in her hands, Yang Xiu'er pouted and complained, "Why don't you do embroidery work?" She came over with an embroidered work, just wanting to steal a teacher from Ning Mengyao, but now she actually took it to the grass in front of the house. Looking up and rushing, Yang Xiu'er silently smiled, "Well, there is already a lot of grass in the vegetable field, and I have to get rid of it." Yang Xiu'er sat down on the stool and put her small basket on one side. There is something to worry about, weeding can be done at any time, making money is the most important thing. Although she does not know how much money Ning Menyao's embroidery work can sell, she does not feel too much. "No, I am not in a hurry to use this money." Ning Mengyao shook his head, no longer paying attention to Yang Xiu'er, and continued to move in his hands. The movements in Yang Xiu'er's hands were slightly stiff, and the hands with some needles were rough, the fingertips were slightly white, and the face was slightly ugly. In this way, the two get along with a strange attitude, one doing embroidery work, from time to time look at Ning Mengyao in the vegetable field, but the latter did not even give her a look. After feeling her sight many times, Ning Mengyao looked up and looked at Yang Xiu'er, who was staring at what she didn't know. "What's the matter?" Yang Xiu'er shook her head a little, looked down at the embroidery work in her hand, and her eyes lit up. "Mengyao, can you help me see how to embroider this place?" "How can I give embroidery?" She had a silk plover in her hand, and there were light flowers on the parch. It was very beautiful, but the flower lacked some aura. Ning Mengyao put down the things in her hands and walked over to Yang Xiu'er and looked down at the panda in her hand. "Do not use a flat needle in this place, it is better to cross it and you can try it." "Oh, good," said embroidered with Ning Menyao's method. After embroidering some, she looked farther and found that the effect was indeed much better than she had just embroidered. Suddenly satisfied with the nod, but also because this time, as long as Yang Xiu'er did not understand the place, she kept calling Ning Mengyao, and she could not do her own thing. Ning Mengyao flashed a bit of irritability at the bottom of her eyes. When Yang Xiu'er called her again, she just looked up and looked at it. "You will be the ones you just said? You can't chew more. I don't care what Yang Xiu'er is. Expression, just bow down and continue to do things in your hands." Yang Xiu'er expression has such a bad look for a moment, and feels that Ning Mengyao is too stingy. Even this little thing is not willing to tell her, it is too much, and she will treat her as a good friend. Without getting what she wants, Yang Xiu'er has been staring at Ning Mengyao, and her eyes are like eating her. "Mengyao, I just want to ask you about embroidery work, why are you so fierce?" Yang Xiu'er grievances looked at Ning Mengyao, whispering muttering. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 5, Battle. Ning Mengyao, who said this, was not happy. He put down his little girl in his hand and looked at Yang Xiu'er with a cold look. "I have my own things to do. You asked me if I didn't tell you. And if you ask, then can you remember more things? Do you have such a good talent?" It's not a shame that Ning Menyao's speech is ugly, but Yang Xiu'er is really overly difficult and makes her very uncomfortable. Yang Xiu'er's face brush changed a little pale, and shivered and pointed at Ning Mengyao. "I just want to learn from you, make more money, how can you say this to me? Learning should have a degree. I can teach you without disturbing my life, but I will not go around you." Ning Mengyao did not guilty about Yang Xiu'er, but said coldly. Yang Xiu'er watched Ning Mengyao for a while, ran out with an embroidered face, and Ning Mengyao heard her low crying. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Xiu'er's back, his eyes were very cold, and he put the in his hand back into the utility room, and then took the wooden bucket to the outside creek and drank some water to pour some food. After Yang Xiu'er returned to the village, some people saw her eyes red. It was a bit strange, she is not looking for the lonely woman who does not know where to come from. How come this way back? Roche looked at her daughter. She would have liked to ask Ning Mengyao to teach her not, but now she saw her grievances and suddenly she was dissatisfied. What happened to Xiu'er? Who is bullying you? Mother. How can she do that? I just want to learn something with her. Why does she swear at me and degrade me? Young Xiao'er rushed into Rosie's arms and burst into tears. There were people watching it on the side, and when they heard young Xiao'er's words, they suddenly talked about it, and young Xiao'er, who was kneeling in Rosie's arms, had a crying look, and even his mouth was smiling. The people in the village didn't have any good feelings for Ning Mengyao. She didn't come to the village very much. They were all staying at the foot of the mountain, so many people in the village thought she was weird. I even thought she was not a good person. Now with young Xiao'er, the people who talked have become more and more. You don't want to talk about it. Yao Yao is not such a person. When everyone talked about it, a female voice interrupted their words and said with enthusiasm. Everyone turned to look at the past, is the daughter of the village chief Yang Lele. Yang Lele is not tall, but because the conditions in the family are good, so it is good, and some fat face of the baby, now wrinkled together, like a delicious meat buns. Lele, what do you say in this? Can the show still deceive people? Roche looked at Yang Lele unhappy, very displeased. Yang Lele snorted and looked at young Xiao'er with disdain. Yao Yao is not such a person. Although she is a little cold, she is very good. When I go to find her to help draw the embroidery, she will help me. I will also give me delicious snacks, and, the dog in the village accidentally ran to her house. She was not only angry, but also washed her face and gave the dog a baby. One Piece said what Ning Mengyao had done. After she finished, she looked at them. Although I don't know what happened to young Xiao'er in Yao Yao's home, I believe that Yao Yao is not such a person. You are not allowed to be filthy. She was. Regardless of how people in the village say Ning Mengyao, Yang Lele does not believe that Ning Mengyao is the best person in her heart. Everyone heard Yang Xiao'er's words slightly awkward. When the dog's son heard Yang Lele's words, he hurried over and stared at the crowd. Meng Yao's sister is very good. That is, Meng Yao's sister is very good. Several children around the dog's baby, also picked him around and kept nodding. After the dog baby went to Ning Mengyao home, they often went to Ning Mengyao to play, or went to the outside of her wall to pick some nice flowers, or to go in and play. Every time she was not angry, give them candy, or a delicious snack. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 6, Teach Children to Read Words. As long as they don't quarrel with Meng Yao's sister, she won't be angry, and even if they can't do things, she just puts down the things in their hands to watch them play in the yard, and sometimes they will play games with them. Yeah, Meng Yao's sister also taught us to write. We will write our own name. The dog baby said with Yang Xiao's dissatisfaction, I don't want you to smash Meng Yao's sister like this. Said the confession, the children present were all said one by one, and some children took up the 3 characters on the spot. The villagers who still had some unbeliefs believed, and said that the children would not lie. Now many children say so, and the children who are carrying the children at the beginning of the school can learn in the school. Yes, but they have never been to the school. Then there is only one possibility, this is Ning Mengyao. Then I thought that Ning Menyao's image in the hearts of the people gradually changed, and some still thought she was a very good girl. Yang Xiao'er leaned on Roche's arms and heard the words of the children. He was a little embarrassed. He knows that if he continues to smash Ning Mengyao, no one will believe it. In my heart, Yang Lele can't help but hate it. It's all this gimmick. If it weren't for her, how could she get it down now? Showing the girl, don't smudge others in the future, it's not good. That's right. People are willing to teach you that it is a human condition, and it is a matter of course. Everyone said one by one. Yang Xiao'er's face was blue and purple, very ugly. Seeing that Yang Xiao'er's cockroaches didn't know how it was, Yang Lele snorted with disdain and turned away. The dog babies also jumped and went to the river with their little friends. After everyone left, Yang Xiao'er couldn't hold it anymore. He looked up from Roche's arms and looked a little embarrassed. I thought it would make Ning Menyao's reputation worse in our village. Who knows that it happened to be self-defeating. Come on slowly. Roche patted his niece's shoulder and said with a soothing. An orphan girl, even if it is so powerful, where can it be so powerful? Still not letting them pinch the round. After Yang Lele came home, she thought of what the dog said, talking to her old lady, Yu Yao Yao knows the word, can you ask her to teach the children in our village to recognize the words? This, she will be willing. The school's tufts are very high, and their villages are not so rich. Many children in the village who miss school have no such opportunity. If Ning Mengyao can promise to help teach the children, then it would be great. Young Leilei's smile, Yao Yao, she teaches the dog, they write, and they read, it means that she is very good, I can definitely agree. When I go to ask, if she agrees, you will go to see her again. What are you talking about? This is not good, or I personally go to please, so more sincere. Yang Zhu thought about it, shaking his head and rejecting Yang Leilei's words. Since they want to ask Ning Mengyao to teach the children in their village to read the words, then he has to go in person to ask, so that he is more sincere, otherwise what if the children feel that they have no sincerity to disagree? He wants Ning Mengyao to teach children to read the words, but it does not mean to let the children refer to them. As long as they can recognize the words, it is good to have one more way out, at least not to eat like them. That's good, let's go together in the afternoon, I also want to go find her to play. Yang Leilei said with a smile. She likes to play with Ning Mengyao very much, and she is very comfortable with her. In the afternoon, Yang Zhu took some of the fruits grown in the ground and went to Ning Mengyao's home with Yang Leilei. When Yang Leilei and Yang Zhu came over, Ning Mengyao put down the things in his hands and walked over. How did you come over to the village head? When she came to settle here, Yang Zhu helped her a lot. She is very respectful to this old man. Shantao, uncle is coming over today is something I want to ask you. Yang Zhu looked at Ning Mengyao's voice slightly trembled, which made Ning Mengyao even more strange, turned to see Yang Leilei, the latter gave her an innocent look. What do you have to say to the village head? I can help if I can help. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 7, Simple Villagers. That is, today I listened to the dog and they said, you teach them to study, and teach them to read and write, so I want to ask you to teach the children in our village to read the words. I looked forward to watching Ning Mengyao. Ning Mengyao's glimpse, it turned out to be the case. She taught the children to recognize the words and only rose. Now the village head wants him to teach the children in the village to read the words. This. Chairman I. Is there any difficulty in Shantao? Ning Mengyao has some helplessness, I am afraid that I will delay their future. It doesn't matter. We don't want them to go to school. They just want them to recognize the words, they can do more things, and there is more way out in the future. Yang Zhui heard that, and quickly explained. Ning Mengyao thought about it and finally nodded and agreed, if their family agrees, I promise to teach them, but I may only teach them to read and write and count them. If you want to test, then I still have to go to the formal school. There is a reason why she agrees. For so long, she has always wanted to find an opportunity to integrate into Baishan village. She has never had a chance, and this is the best opportunity, although it will take some time. Yang Zhu's face was smiling on some old faces. He kept nodding. Well, then I will thank you for the children in the village. He said that he would bend over to Ning Mengyao, who was Ning Mengyao. Give it up. Chairman, are you not smashing me? You are an elder, where do you have the opportunity to give me a gift? Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Zhu and frowned. Oh, well, don't you call me the village head, just call me uncle. Yang Zhu said ha ha ha. Okay, uncle. Hey, let me talk to you. After finishing the music, he went out and left Yang Leilei to stay in Ning Mengyao. Yao Yao, I am like this, you don't mind. Yang Leilei touched his nose and said something awkward. Ning Mengyao shook his head gently, nothing, Baishan village has such a village head very good. Yang Leilei was happy with her face. Some people praised her for making her happy, but when she thought of one thing, her brow wrinkled slightly. Yao Yao, do you know why we know that you teach dogs to read words? Yang Leilei suddenly asked. Ning Mengyao is also very strange, why? Not because of Yang Xiu'er. Yang Leilei said unwillingly. Ning Mengyao had some accidents, she. What did she do? When Ning Mengyao asked, Yang Leilei told her what Yang Xiu'er had done. With a sneer, Yang Xiu'er is what kind of person, she has already known this time, so she is not surprised by such a thing, but for her, Yang Xiu'er has done a good thing, can let her as soon as possible into the Baishan village. How many bundles do you plan to collect for Yao Yao? Yang Lele suddenly remembered this. She just ran away without asking, and it was really helpless. I don't plan to accept it. I just have nothing to teach them to read. I don't miss that money. Ning Mengyao shook her head gently, and she didn't rely on the bunch to cook, but the money was for the people in the village. It is very precious, it may be a month or even longer. Yang Lele looked at Ning Mengyao's look a bit complicated. She knew that Ning Mengyao was very good, but she did this, and she was somewhat self-defeating. It's good for Yao Yao to know you. I will go to the town tomorrow morning, you can't go. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Lele and asked. She remembered that Yang Lele's embroidery work had already been done. Yang Lele nodded quickly. I am going, my embroidery work is done, I want to sell it, and then take some back to do it. When will Yao Yao help me draw some tricks? When you get it, is there someone in the village who is a carpenter? Ning Mengyao suddenly thought that the tables and chairs at home were not enough. To teach the children to read the words, they had to prepare them first. I know, you come with me. The two walked together toward the village. When they went there, they didn't see the figure in the village. When they walked to the door of Yang Lele's house, they saw that there were people inside. The crowd also had an argument, and both of them heard it. It is to discuss the topic of Ning Mengyao agreeing to teach children to count words. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 8, Carpenter's Help. Across the crowd, Yang Zhu saw Ning Mengyao and quickly greeted people to come in and explain to the villagers. Mengyao Shantao, are you really willing to teach your children to read the words? We'll recognize the words, and count them. When you grow up, you can go to the account room. This is a lot of money. I feel excited when I think about it. Well, I promised the children in the uncle's village to recognize the words and count, but if you want to let the children test the show, then you can see if the child's talent can be sent to the school. Ning Mengyao, although not enthusiastic, it was explained to the villagers. That's the repair. I don't plan to collect your bundle repairs. You have to keep some ink and practice words for your children, or buy some delicious supplements for your children. Ning Mengyao saw the dogs and they looked eager to see. She seems to understand that they can really learn to read. When everyone heard it, they couldn't believe it. Ning Mengyao, she didn't even accept their repairs. This. Taro, you. Uncle doesn't matter, I am just amateur. I can teach and teach. When you don't disappoint me, it's not good. Ning Mengyao smiled slightly, like the spring breeze, so that everyone's heart is warm, how could be? Yes, then we will thank you first. No, but the child can only be sent after the age of 5. Ning Mengyao made a request for the time when the children of the past life were truly enlightened. Why? Some family members asked inexplicably. The child is only 5 years old when the enlightenment, and the 5-year-old child has been qualitative, can live. Ning Mengyao patiently explained, she said so. When everyone listens, think about it. It is true that children are too small to sit still and think about going to play, so they will understand when they think about it. Ning Mengyao smiled at them and Yang Lele went to the carpenter's house in the village to see. Yao Yao Li grandpa is a carpenter, his carpenter work is good. Yang Lele pointed to an old man not far from them, smiled and opened his mouth. When he heard Yang Lele say himself, Li Lao Tu looked up at Ning Mengyao, what do you want to do? I want to make some table chairs. There are not so many tables and chairs in my house. Ning Mengyao has some helpless openings. Hey, what do I think is what, how big, I will definitely make the table and chair with my 2 sons these 2 days, you can rest assured. Li Lao Tu said directly. He has 2 grandchildren, one is 7 years old, and one is 5 years old. They can all send them to read the words. Of course, he is happy to help this little. Grandpa Li, we will go to your home first. I will tell you what kind of table I am going to do. Cheng, the pillar, then I went to Mengyao, and I left. Li Lao Tu turned his head and said to Yang Zhu. Row. One old and one less turned and left, the rest of the people began to talk about it, their expressions were all excited, and some also told their children that they must follow Ning Menyao's good literacy. Ning Menyao came to Li Laotu's home. There are also two middle-aged men who seem to be playing furniture. "Hey, are you coming back?" What did the village head say? They didn't look at it because they had to catch a lot of furniture. Our Liner and Xiaomu can read the words. Li Laotu thought of this heart and he was happy. When the two men heard it, they quickly put down the things in their hands and asked Li Laotu what was going on. After listening to Li's words, the two men looked at Ning Menyao's eyes. "Grandpa Li, let's talk about the table and chairs first." With such a burning look, Ning Menyao felt that she was embarrassed. When Li Laotu heard this, he thought about it. He called Ning Menyao, and he discussed it with the old and the young. Under the guidance of Ning Menyao, Li Laotu quickly made a set of tables and chairs that could be folded. "That's the way, I have 15 sheets for Li's grandfather's desk, and 30 for the chair. How much does it cost?" Ning Menyao was very satisfied with the table and chair. She looked up and asked Li Laotu to ask. Li Laotu waved his hand. "How can I ask you for money? You don't have to pay for the repairs, and we will have to work hard." "Yeah, you can't look down on us when you say it." The two men on the side are also dissatisfied. They also want to send their son to the school, but Shu Xiu is too expensive. Now the son has the opportunity to read the words, they are of course happy. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 9, ready. Ning Menyao looked at them like this, but he could only helplessly nod. "Well, then Grandpa Li, Uncle Li will bother you." "No trouble, no trouble." The three men shook their heads at the same time. After talking to the three people, Ning Menyao left. Not long after she left, the two male boys of Li's family came back. After returning, Li Laotu told them that they could read the words. "Grandpa really?" 7-year-old Lin Er looked at Li's eyes full of expectations. "Yes, I can go in a few days." "When will Lin and Xiaomu have to listen to them?" Li Laotu said with a smile. He knows that his grandson wants to study for a long time, but their family is better than others. People are better, but there is no such ability for him to go to school, but now it is different. If Liner is talented, then they will discuss it again. Lin Er looked at his brother, and the two of them happily screamed, "Great!" This scene happened in many people in the village. Adults are happy, and children are looking forward to it. Early the next morning, Yang Lele came to Ning Menyao with her own embroidery work. The two went to the town with the ox cart in the village. When I arrived in the town, Ning Menyao accompanied Yang Lele to sell the embroidery work, and took some embroidery work. After that, the two talents went to the book to buy some books. Ning Menyao bought simple, such as the 3 characters, hundreds of family names, thousands of characters, disciples and other enlightenment books, but also bought some pen and ink. "Yao Yao is so expensive." "Nothing, I bought it back and cut the paper, and copied the book out." Ning Menyao shook his head in disapproval. Ning Menyao bought a total of 10 books. "If you really want to copy all the books, I am afraid it will take some time, and it will cost 2 or 2 more for this thing. I will help you when I am, although I can't write, but it's okay to help you sew them together." Yang Lele thought for a moment and said. "This is natural." Ning Menyao nodded with a smile. After buying a good book, Ning Menyao went to buy some daily necessities, and this went back. After arriving home, Ning Menyao moved a small table, put the pen and ink on it, and began to copy. When she finished copying a copy, Yang Lele carefully put it together and used a piece of oil paper to lay a layer on the outermost surface, which stitched the book with thick lines. After the two returned from the town, they had been busy copying books, and it was not until the afternoon that they had finished copying the disciples. Looking at the 30 disciples, Ning Menyao is full of smiles. Yang Lele looked at the books on the table with a sense of accomplishment. "I will help you tomorrow. Then it will be troublesome." "I still have trouble with me." Yang Lele waved his hand in disappointment. In the evening, Yang Lele had a meal at Ning Menyao's house before taking home with her own things. Going back to Yang Zhu and Yang's worried standing at the door, I saw her figure and let go of my heart. When I saw the parents at the door, Yang Lele remembered that she was busy helping Yao Yao to bind books in one afternoon. She forgot to come back and say something to her mother. I walked to the doorstep quickly. I am fine with my mother. After I came back, I helped Yao Yao to sew books. I forgot to come back and tell you, it is not good for me. Nothing, you say sewing books. Well, Yao Yao bought 10 books, but these books are very expensive. They spent almost 2 silvers. Yao Yao said that she would give me some more copies. I thought of the 30 copies copied in the afternoon. The book, Yang Lele, is full of hearts. Yang Zhu looked at his niece and opened his mouth. He didn't know what kind of words he used to describe his mood at the moment. Hey, I have to go to help Yao Yao tomorrow, she is too busy to come. Yang Lele frowned. If no one helps her, then she has to copy the book and bind it again. How long does it take? Well, let's go home and help Yao Yao first. Yang Zhu nodded and was very satisfied with her attitude. It's the sons who are not at home, and if they can send their grandchildren to read the words. The next morning, Yang Lele went to Ning Menyao's home. In the past, Ning Menyao had already placed a few books that had just been copied. You have done so much. How can you not wait for me to come over? Going to the table and sitting down, holding the needlework, began sewing the one that Ning Menyao had just copied. Ning Menyao smiled and did not explain, but continued to carefully copy. In this way, it took about 4 or 5 days to get everything ready, and the tables and chairs of Li Lao Tu were all sent over. The General's Little Peasant Wife Chapter 10, Incorporate into Baishan Village. Someone went to ask Yang Zhu during this time. Isn't this something going to happen? Yang Zhu told them that Ning Menyao is preparing books for the children, they just let go of their hearts, and the women still bring their own fruits and vegetables. To Ning Menyao. When I came over, I really saw Ning Menyao and Yang Lele busy in the yard. There were a lot of books that were just bound at the table. Finally all copied. Ning Menyao stretched out a lot and licked his shoulder. Yeah, when are you going to start? These days, the relationship between Yang Lele and Ning Menyao is getting better and better, and she knows a few words, which makes her very happy. Ning Menyao thought for a moment. You go back and tell Yang Shu, let the villagers come with the children tomorrow, I will register the name, and send some books to them. All? No, only 3 books are sent. After these studies, the rest will be sent. Ning Menyao shook her head. She thought of a modern way of education. Maybe it might not be possible to try it. Yang Lele nodded in agreement and all made it. In case the child lost it, he had to copy Yao Yao again. This is not worth the candle. In the afternoon, Yang Lele went home and told Yang Zhu about the meaning of Ning Menyao. Yang Zhu quickly informed the villagers to come over and tell them the good news. Early the next morning, Ning Menyao stood at the door of a lot of people, some were a child, the family came, I heard that they can also send books, so they want to come and see. Ning Menyao opened the door to say hello to everyone, let them all line up, one by one. Yang Lele sat next to Ning Menyao. After she graded a name, Yang Lele handed the 3 books in front to the child. There are a total of 26 children. All the children are holding their own books. They are happy to touch, and they are reluctant to let go. Do you bring the books to you tomorrow morning? Ning Menyao looked at the excited child and said with a smile. Got it. After getting the books, the villagers came home with their children. After they went back, they couldn't wait to open the book and watch the beautiful words written on them. Everyone thought that Ning Menyao was really good. These 3 books are probably it took a few hundred words to buy it. Although it was copied, it took her a lot of time. The next day, the children who signed up at Ning Menyao had eaten at the door and waited at the door. This made Ning Menyao, who wanted to be late, have to open the door and let them in, and this time she was covered with brick walls. In the yard, tables and chairs have been placed. Sit in high order. Ning Menyao looked at a few children, smiling with a gentle face, but with a serious smile. Next, Ning Menyao began to teach them to study, using the method of finger reading, while reading, using a finger, reading a word, referring to a word. After spending about half an hour, I read all 3 books. After reading, Ning Mengyao began to teach them to write, and the word is the herringbone in the 3-character. In front of each child, there is a sandbox and a branch. Ning Mengyao holds a branch of a normal brush length and holds it for each child. When they are not in the correct position, they will go to the teaching of the hands. After all the children will be there, Ning Mengyao wrote a person on the blackboard made of charcoal. While speaking to the children, every child present was very serious. When Ning Mengyao said that he could practice, every child could not wait to write. Among them, Liner's qualifications are the best. He looks at the words on the blackboard. It can be written neatly after writing only 2 times. There are probably some simple reasons for this. After each child learns to write people, Ning Mengyao teaches them the word. This word is difficult for many children. When they can't write, Ning Mengyao teaches hands, 2 or 3 times. Then they will almost be there. After that, it is the first word. This word is somewhat difficult. The people who will write after half an hour are 2 or 3, and Lin and Xiaomu are among them.